DRG, INnoVation, Dark, 2021 GSL Season 2, Code S. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2021 GSL Season 2.
It's now time to eliminate our first player. It's weird to say, man. INnoVation versus DRG is next. One of these guys doesn't go on in GSL?
Maybe both of these guys don't go on in GSL.
Wow.
After watching that Dream vs. Dark series, I know the two I want moving on.
These guys are the underdogs in a round of 16. Quick reminder, guys, if you just joined us and you're looking at this going, Group B, what the hell? How did I miss Group A? Group A is actually on Thursday. We've had some schedule conflicts, so we had to rearrange the order in which we're doing this. So this is still the first day of GSL Code S, and it's good to have you with us.
Yeah, spread the word, of course. Code S is going to be every Monday and Thursday until it's done at the end of July. It's going to be a great season, no doubt. I think that everyone's levels are rising. Yeah, we have like exciting new players around too.
Yeah, and we've got people back like DRG. He's been in a couple of GSLs, but it's cool to see a player older than Nesty now competing.
Yeah.
Going up against INnoVation, who honestly, INnoVation might be the weakest player in this group. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say actually, because I think Dream played really well and Dark played really well today, so it's hard to exactly place where these two are at. But you know what's going to place where they're at, Taces? Them playing each other.
It's one way to figure it out. Actually, it's the only way to figure it out.
Ooh, Oblivion. Our new map is going to be first.
All right. I welcome this. Let's see how a game TVZ with INnoVation versus DRG pans out on our new map, Oblivion. Again, the loser of this best of 3 is out of the GSL Code S.
KaiZ Gaming, INnoVation.
Wonder if in Britain it's called KaiZ Gaming.
It could be, man.
Team NV, DRG.
In this TVZ.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is kind of funny casting these two in the modern era. I mean, these were two major fixtures of StarCraft throughout, long time ago in GSL. Heart of the Swarm, and even earlier than that. So,
yeah, DRG predates INnoVation a bit. Being around in the pre-Kespa era, DRG was one of the strongest players and the longest lasting non-Kespa player.
That's right. Yeah, we should actually talk about that for a second because, people do still pick up StarCraft and still just now start to follow GSL, and it's like a lot of the history can actually be lost on people, but there was a whole period where it was the Kespa players. These were all basically the infrastructure for Brood War, StarCraft 1. When StarCraft 2 came out, people didn't just switch over. A lot of people did. You and I certainly did. We were sleeper cell nerds waiting for the game to come out to try to do basically this.
And within the Korean StarCraft 1 Pro scene, for people to switch over, there was like retired people coming out to play.
Right.
A lot of Eastro players. Eastro was kind of not doing as well, and a lot of the players from that team actually ended up switching.
They disbanded from Kespa.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, but
not
they were
exactly
always sort of
start,
on the fringe of that group.
It's actually a funny story. Like I got the beta right away and brought it downstairs and installed it on the Eastro PCs and let them try it out some. That's where people like Fruit Dealer and Tester, or Trickster he was known as, came from.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead, Taste, continue.
No, I was just gonna say, so the game came out, and really it's one for the history books, man. Like, it was a moment where Blizzard, I think, expected everybody to switch, but Kespa, having already leagues with StarCraft 1 and teams that played StarCraft 1 decided to not switch over to StarCraft 1. and instead keep making those, or sorry, switch over to StarCraft 2 is what I mean to say. And so they kept those players playing StarCraft 1. So we had a whole series of seasons of GSL with these players that weren't the KESPA players. And just to be clear, the KESPA players were, by far and large, the better RTS players. So when KESPA did finally switch, we saw a lot of the people who were early GSL first few season fixtures basically get completely outpaced.
Over a very short period of time,
about
KESPA
2 seasons
displaced just about everyone. And a couple caveats here. First off, at the beginning, before KESPA switched, the best player that switched over from StarCraft 1, the best StarCraft 1 player that switched over was actually MVP.
That's right.
And he wasn't actually a superstar in StarCraft 1, but he was solid. He was very good.
He was like definitely like a top 32,
he was a pro league
top
player,
16.
Yeah, but not a Star League champion. So
right.
like, people came over with almost exactly the same rank that they had in StarCraft 1 into StarCraft 2, which I thought was kind of interesting.
But MVP managed to be completely viable competitively.
Oh, yes.
After the KESPA switch.
Yeah. Well, the KESPA switch came and he was kind of on the, his wrist was bothering him and stuff. He was around for a little bit.
It was a mixture of a couple things. You're right. The tendons in his wrists were causing him a lot of pain, so he was sort of prepping to retire.
Yeah, so when the KESPA switch came, like you mentioned, it did not take very long for them to basically just push out the non-KESPA players. Now, the very best of the non-KESPA players like Maru, got recruited into KESPA teams.
Right.
And the last standing player that was non-KESPA in GSL, there were 31 KESPA players in DRG.
That's right.
And that was and plenty of KESPA players that didn't make GSL. So it's not like he was the bottom player either. He was lower ranked, but yeah.
Even the players that weren't KESPA at the time, that jumped onto StarCraft 2 right when it came out, were almost all of them, I believe, were on some type of a KESPA team of some sort.
Yes.
In their history.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to realize how much history there is in StarCraft out here. It's more here than there is anywhere. Even if it's not the oldest game, I mean, there's games like Street Fighter 2 that are older, but they don't have anywhere near the backlog of stories and tournaments and history that StarCraft has had in Korea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really fascinating time. And actually, just one little other thing before this picks up too much. When they were first switching over KESPA, the anticipated players, like I think Sulky was said to be, he was going to be the guy. He ended up winning a GSL championship. INnoVation and Rain. Those were the 3 top guys. Now, Rain became the best Protoss ever during his time. Sulky was the best Zerg ever during his time, and INnoVation was the best Terran ever during his time.
Yeah.
INnoVation's still around. Both of the others, Sulky and Rain, went back to Brood War and won championships there after winning them in StarCraft 2. So just crazy. The history within Korean StarCraft is insane.
And we do have players that are still obviously here now playing StarCraft 2. We had some players that switched back into StarCraft 1. Mm-hmm. There was a period where pretty much every player, actually that's not true, almost every, but there were some that never switched out of StarCraft 1 that still kind of stuck around with it.
There were.
And now we basically have leaks for both.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a StarCraft fan. All right, so we have Lingbane Muta here for DRG.
Now that this game is finally ready to be talked about, we've let what is pretty much a typical TVZ here build up. We're at the point of action.
Yeah, one thing to mention is the evolution chambers here are very late for DRG. He's spreading creep like an absolute madman, 12 tumors at a time, but just now starting that 1-1. So he's going to be behind on that, which means it's going to be very Baneling and Mutalisk-centric, his defenses. INnoVation starting to push back some of this creep.
Oh! Good save there. And we've got the Mutas now coming in here. And they're going to start hammering away here at the production facilities. And this is not bad. This is going to keep INnoVation back here. This is actually a lot of free damage. The Marines are having a pretty hard time contesting this. The Mutas fighting them basically one versus all the Mutas. One Marine versus all the Mutas. And they're going to fly out, and the damage is going to continue here.
Yeah, the damage is insane already. Look at this. 7 SCVs killed. He's dropping mules underneath the Mutas as the Marines stim over to push them back. 9 workers killed. Awesome, awesome Mutas so far.
Yeah, definitely doing work, and more Mutas are to come. And look, we talked about this at the start of the evening, and we're going to be talking about it now. DRG is powering up into Ling Muta Bane. He's always made this style work, and I worry a little bit here for INnoVation. We see that he's kind of incorporated some Hellbats here into the mix to see if that can fuzzy the math a little bit here on how the exchanges go, but of course you can always counterattack and completely ignore the Hellbats entirely.
And here comes this little counterattack here towards that third base. The mules haven't been pulled. They are towards the end of their lifespan anyways. The Marines stimming in to push this all back. And look at this. DRG's just going to leave. He's going to say, all right, it's fine. Counterattack here from INnoVation. Kind of scary. He's going to need a lot of Banes to deal with that. He's actually going for this. Oh my god, he's going to get the command center, but INnoVation is still continuing to push forward here. DRG is going to come home with the rest of his units, and like, I don't think there's any way he's losing another base.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay from here. I mean, the thing is, it is clear to me that Dark is much better at doing this than DRG is, but let's see how this engagement goes. Now, I think that if I see this correctly, the Zerg should be able to win this fight pretty handily. So then from here, you know, it's going to be 4 bases to 2. We're kind of having the same story in a different game. And this is such a pronounced victory. There are so many more Banelings left over, and so much more of Terran stuck on the map. Look at that siege. If there was any sign that this game is not going to be an INnoVation when it was that moment when he just realizes, okay, there's still Banelings coming. There's still much more being produced. DRG just completely dumpsters INnoVation.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So that was maybe my favorite TVZ of the day. I don't know.
I see what you did there, because that was the weakest TVZ of the day.
Because that TVZ was awful. Yeah, that's what I did.
Well, you know,
I'm glad you're at my level, Artosis.
No, totally. The Mutas really caught INnoVation there. I think he was just not expecting them quite that quickly, I guess. And they got a lot of damage. DRG controlled the pace. INnoVation went for the counter, and DRG got in, did just as much damage, then went back and smashed the army, and that's all you need.
Lightshade is going to be map number 2. So we got to have Oblivion. Oblivion, that's kind of what happened to INnoVation, am I right? Sorry, guys. We're going to go to game number 2 here, Lightshade, and maybe we'll be a little bit funnier. Through the letters.
KaiZ Gaming, INnoVation.
And if INnoVation doesn't play much better, much better, we're going to have another TVZ after this.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
DRG.
The TVZ deep dive will be complete.
That'll be fun, actually. I want to see if DRG can play a bit better against Dream this next time. I think he will, honestly. I feel like he game 1, outline game, and game 2 just didn't quite get his feet under him, you know?
I agree.
So I think DRG's got better than that in him. But first, he's got to kill INnoVation. I don't want to count INnoVation out.
I'm kind of counting him out, man. I mean, he looked pretty. That last game, like, don't know. I mean, we all have bad days, but INnoVation this season.
You're always great.
Well, I don't know, man. I've definitely. Then anybody that's not deaf has seen my cast from time to time when I'm not on. But honestly, like, INnoVation really is looking honestly worse than many seasons of me casting him that I've seen. Like, this is a much weaker player.
Yeah, I guess last year you had some peaks that were pretty good. The year before, like, reasonable. Some games in there that were reasonable, but he's definitely not quite championship contender INnoVation anymore.
Yeah.
And it would be amazing if he can do that again, and I think it is possible. We have seen. The thing is, he's already got one of the longest histories of strong wins. Like, he's actually, his wins are pretty well spread out. It's not like he pumped them all out right in a row and then just floated from there, right? I don't have the exact dates, but I'm always very impressed by players that have. I like to see spread out championships more than bone draw runs. It's like cool to see Rogue or Serral or someone like that win like 4 tournaments in a row and stuff. Then that's super dominating and super impressive. But when a player wins them across many years, it's like, damn, man, that is a lot of peaks. where you were the best. And that, in a lot of ways, I actually find that more impressive, honestly. Like, you know, there's all the Boners in StarCraft 1, for instance, are like, you know, they win a bunch in a row, but the ones I'm impressed with are like July Zerg, right? Where it's like, oh, he won in 3 distinct eras championships,
right.
And that's like, damn, man.
Well, that's remarkable because of how different the games are at any of those points in time.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to have completely different sets of skills at times and different burdens that your own race has in different matchups, especially on different maps at times. And, yeah, I agree, Artosis.
Yeah. And I do hope, you know, I said it, I think, last year as well. I do still want to see another tournament win from INnoVation. I think that'd be really fun. Okay, well, that was like a very interesting defense. Because
it gets into.
Yeah, so it's like,
what do you know? He's going 3 command center.
1 Marine in there, which is cute, and then he stacked the SCVs there. And he lost 2 SCVs and the Marine, and got fully scouted.
Yeah.
So like, while it was a cool idea,
he was also somehow bit by a snake during that. Like
Yeah.
everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
That would explain more of it.
Yeah, that was really bad. I mean, I hope it's not a sign of what's to come, but yeah, that was rough. Double Evo here for DRG. Placed in such a way that the Hellions can't just glide through.
It's interesting to watch DRG wiggle his build around, right? Like, very late Evo's one game where he starts 1-1 basically as 1-1's finishing for Terran with the quicker mutas here. Much quicker Evos. Oh, a Hellbat push, you say? All right.
Well, we know these always work, and Blizzard's never going to patch them so that, you know, Terran can be balanced for once. But let's see if maybe Zerg can stop it. Of course, we are joking here. We pretty much never see Hellbat pushes work. I see pros bitch about this on their Twitter sometimes. Like, they're saying it's not going to work again. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not blind. Now,
what are we but pattern-seeking monkeys, Tasteless?
That's right.
Okay, so Spine on the way. How many queens does he have right now?
Maybe this is the moment. You know, the problem with the Hellbat push is they're not fast on their feet, so, like, you can kind of run away. I love the Zitling under the command center.
Very annoying, very annoying. All right, he hasn't landed Viking there for a little bit more buffiness. It's 6 queens here, 21 lings as well. He's got 2 Marauders in there with concussive, right? So that's really tricky. That can make it really hard to pull back. Does he not have concussive?
Is this the moment the Hellbat push works?
Maybe. Let's see. I'm ready for it.
All right. He's got the drones very well microed. And what do you know?
He got a drone in there, Tasteless.
Yeah, he did. His 3rd CC hasn't landed. What if he puts more Hellbats in there? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Ooh, the counterattack. Getting into that natural. All right, Spine coming up. Wants to plant itself, but actually just getting in the way. Does replant in a different location. Queen's fighting transfusions going off. A little bit of a ling flank, but it's like 4 lings.
Yeah.
All right, still, he's just transfused his queens. He's killing far more workers than the push is killing. Turns out 4 Zerglings is better attack than 8 Hellbats.
Well, guys, that this TVZ, you know, maybe better than the one before. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. It's really up in the air.
It's a rough one, man.
It's really in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? Which games are good and which games are bad today? That's all I can say, honestly. You know, my favorite part of this game?
Which one?
Was when the Queens kited the Hellbats and then chased them away, and the Zerg didn't lose as many drones as was intended in the strategy.
No. Tasteless?
Yes.
Clem made a Hellbat push work, so maybe you should shut your mouth.
Maybe I should shut my face hole is what I should do.
Although it hasn't worked in the GSL for 2 years.
I think even more than that, man.
Maybe.
I think it's been 3 or 4. So Zerg expands freely. We have more and more lings coming. And I don't know. Let's just let the game pan out. Of course, you do give up a bit as Terran going for the Hellbats. It's quite an investment in units that, first of all, usually die in the attack, and if they don't die, they don't really scale that well. So we've got Banelings coming. We have upgrades continuing to flourish here. Now, Terran is also finishing a lot of upgrades on his side.
He's a bit behind as far as those ground upgrades go, right? He's got 1-1 that's going to be finishing relatively soon. But that's like 2-2 is going to be halfway done by the time he gets to start it. So DRG not going to be behind in that way at all. Getting Infestation Pit. He's looking pretty solid here for DRG. Does not have Baneling speed though. He's going to walk those right by. No problem. Here we go. Bust down that wall. I guess you can just remake that.
So Terran's going to attack down here into the bottom, until Baneling's speed is ready. It's very tricky to try to engage this. He's going to come down now, and the hatchery's canceled. Hey,
ooh, that was good.
Little victory there for INnoVation. We'll take it.
Oh, that being useful right here for sure.
That's right.
Queens come forward though, pick off the medevac with nothing in it. Ooh, don't quite get the other one. Maybe force another cancel here. Kind of looks that way.
Man. INnoVation getting some little victories here.
Not bad. Double forced cancel.
So melee 2-2 is going to finish. I think we're just waiting for Baneling's speed to finish.
Yeah, and his creep spread is almost halfway into the map right now, so definitely looking very good for DRG at the moment. His hive halfway as well. INnoVation macroing well. He's got a good SCV count. He's got his 3 bases up and mining. He's not really trying to figure out like what the path to victory is here for INnoVation. I think he has to throw down another command center now, because I don't see him at 2-2 being able to push across the map and do anything significant. Like he should, I think he should push and like clear creep and things like that and try to get favorable trades. But is he gonna get a base? Maybe that's 6 o'clock? Set the tanks up behind the rocks on the ramp.
But this time around, Baneling's speed is done. Baneling's speed was very late this game. It's gonna finish up in 10 seconds, and then we gotta see, how viable is the Terran there. Counterattacks are gonna be inbound.
Excellent siege tank placement here from INnoVation. Stops that counter very quickly.
He's going to try to T-bone this with his lings and everything else. Here we go.
Yeah, let's see this. Pulls back, and pretty good from INnoVation.
Damn, that was a great tank hit.
Targeting down the rest of those Banes.
So not
Group
terrible
at the bottom,
by Terran.
though, gets cleaned up.
Yeah, the problem is the resources are so rich right now for the Zerg. I mean, he's just able to produce at a level that's insane. But the push continues on. He unloads, regroups, and tries to reclaim the position he had before.
Ultra's Cavern on the way here. Lots of Lings and Banes being made. I believe there's only a single siege. Oh, okay, 2 siege tanks with this push. Definitely useful from that high ground still. Little Ling counterattack, taking out this sensor tower. We don't have 3-3 started. We don't have another command center started. INnoVation is pretty much going all in here with this production, which I think is an okay choice,
that's
actually.
Probably the best of, the kind of not great choices that are available.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Terran's foothold from these bases is pretty far away. I mean, Zerg can... Oh, God. All right. The Ling counterattack's going to come in here. Now, oh my God, I didn't even see this attack in the top right of our screen.
Oh yeah, that is very difficult to stop. Look at this, just rolling through. He's going to kill off a bunch of those depots. And in the meantime, clearing the rest of the army as well. This is not a situation that you can come back from as Terran.
No, probably not. I mean, this third base is going to get decimated.
He has nothing going on. Absolutely nothing.
No.
Like, the only redeeming thing I can say is that he's got 83 army supply against 89. That's not even that good because it's Ling Bane he's against. So it's just...
Here we go again, Act 2.
Ooh, these counterattacks.
GG.
Ouch! INnoVation Gets eliminated tonight without picking up a map, unfortunately.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, not losing with a lot of, dignity back there, to be honest, just kind of shut down, man. I mean, honestly, dude, he just got wrecked. There's something about GSL the moment you see a losing Terran go for the Hellbat push, you're like, okay, buddy.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing we do know about INnoVation. He'll be back next season.
Oh, no, you don't say?
He is a never-ending train of Terran.
This man was made to play StarCraft 2.
He certainly was.
But he did get completely owned today.
Yeah.
Just doing my job, guys. I'm sorry. That was one-sided. Yeah. It was very one-sided. It was very much like two players from two different eras.
DRG looking better than he did in his first series. Do you think he has a chance here against Dream?
I don't know, man. It's a tough one. This is actually a GSL group that's going to end on a high note no matter who moves on.
Yeah, that's true.
Guys, Dream versus DRG is going to be our last match. It's just around the corner. Don't go away.